Recording now?
Yep.
All right. So what we'll do is we'll call the meeting to order here. Looks like we have Bruce, Jessica. Everybody's pretty well present. Anybody not present? All right. Everybody knows about the electronic participation protocols. Everybody's
Yes.
wearing pants. All right.
Yes.
All right. Did everybody get the package? They've read through it all?
Yes.
Okay. Number 4, confirmation of the agenda. I'm not sure if that was the stuff that we've already gone through.
So this is just going to be that you're confirming the agenda as presented and that there's not going to be any additions.
As far as I know, there isn't going to be any additions unless there's anything to be added.
Okay, so then can we just get a mover and a seconder for that?
I'll move.
No, I'll second.
June Williams, second. Everybody's in favor?
In favor.
Aye.
Item number 5, disclosure of pecuniary interest. Is there anything tonight?
Nope.
No.
No.
All right. Has everybody read the minutes from the last meeting?
Yep.
Yes.
Is there any questions or comments or concerns before we move to accept the minutes
No.
from November 17th? All right. Well, I guess we'll look for someone to move the minutes. Bruce? And a seconder?
I'll second.
Is that Jessica? No?
I'll second.
June Williams, second. All right. Make it quick tonight, guys. Business arising out of the minutes. Is there any business arising out of the minutes that we'd like to talk about?
Nope.
No, not here.
Nope.
Bruce? Your microphone's muted there, Bruce.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
None.
Okay. All right. Item number 8, consent agenda. So 8.1, balance in cash in lieu of Parkland's restricted reserve 2020. I think maybe we should get Justine maybe to talk about that.
Yeah, sure. So just one thing that I wanted to note before we get into it. So with the restricted reserve, it's reported to council annually. So we were just going to recommend that we maintain that as well for the committee, just based on staff resources and ability to create the report. I think it had been asked for potentially quarterly, but if that works, then I think that's the way we would go.
Okay.
Just to give you guys that heads up. And then so page 9 of the report has the balances as of December 31st, 2020. And that's 618,602. And then page 16 of the report includes the balance over the capital forecast period. So in 2021, I think it says 429,000 through 790,000 in 2030.
All right.
One
Now,
of the main things to point out there.
so this money, just if you wouldn't mind me having a quick question, is this money there for upgrading parks or you know, the buildings? How do we spend this money? Or how do we use it?
I think I might look to either Courtney or Mike to field this.
So I can give a little bit, but for sure, if there's any specific questions, I think we can direct it to our treasurer for more information. But the municipal act does put some restrictions on how the money can be spent based on the type of reserve that it is dedicated towards. And then projects that are presented are subject to council approval.
Correct. One question. You said that we have a balance of $618,000. What is the estimated revenue for 2021?
I think I might direct that question to Mary and bring it back for you, if that's okay.
Okay.
Sorry, is it okay if I just step in for 1 sec?
Sure.
I think I'm fairly confident, if I'm not mistaken, because the amount of development that's going to take place is unsure. I mean, nobody really exactly knows how many new contributions to that reserve are going to be made based on what development takes place throughout the year. But if I remember correctly, I believe every year it's based on the assumption that there will be 3 new cash in lieu of Parkland payments throughout the year. So I'm pretty sure each payment is, I want to say 13,000 or 13,500. And I believe that it was estimated over the course of the next 10 years, just from a budgeting standpoint, that there would be 3, I want to say the number is 3 contributions to that Parkland, to that
That
cash
seems-
of Parkland.
Jessica, that seems awfully low because there's got to be at least 10 houses that are built in every year for the last 5 years. So I'm really surprised that they've only budgeted 3. Doesn't make sense to me.
I'm looking at the page right now and I'm trying to do the math quickly in my head, what the increase equates to every year, but.
Yeah. I'm guessing it's about 10 developments at the minimum. But I'd be curious to find out how many developments contributed to it the last 3 years, for example. And that's what you'd budget it off of, right? You know, it'd be a running budget.
Well, they
But
said
there's-
in that, they said in this report that they've lowballed it, right, at the 3. Gives all the breakdown here of the different funds, where the money comes from. I don't know if I printed off that particular one or
Yeah, we're
not.
only interested in the Parkland because there's tons of other reserve
Mhm.
funds.
Mhm.
So the Parkland Fund is, as you mentioned, Jessica, 13,500 per development.
Oh, here it is. Here it is, Bruce. In the report, it says cash in lieu of Parkland are estimated at 40,500 per year from 2021 to 2030, based on discussions with the County of Wellington planning staff. The number of projected consents is difficult to predict due to the restrictive provincial policy and the fact that eligible properties are only allowed 1 consent. So those payments are based not on building permits, but on consents or severances.
Correct.
Therefore, the township has assumed a conservative estimate of 3 consents per year.
Yeah. I gotta believe there's at least 20 severances last year, seeing all the buildings that have gone up in the township, but that's okay. I'm just kind of curious.
Now, is commercial buildings, are they included in that same, or are they exempt? Is it residential only?
I think it's residential, Vince.
I can help just a little bit with that. They are subject to cash in lieu of Parkland, but it's charged differently. It's not a flat fee, so it's based on a square footage when it's a non-residential. So a little bit different.
All right. Okay, any more discussion on the restricted reserve 2020?
The only point that I wanted to make that the committee knows that although we don't carte blanche have the ability to spend that money, at least we know what we can recommend. For example, the fencing around the baseball diamond, we talked about that. If that cost comes in at $100,000, we know the township does have some funds to be able to do that, but it's still up to the council to approve the use of those funds.
And I think,
Is that a correct statement, would you say, Jessica? You're mute.
You're muted.
Sorry about that. Yes, I think that the balance in that reserve, any funds being spent from that reserve would be part of the budget discussions through council. But I would say that if there is a project that the Recreation Committee would like to bring forward as a priority for something to be considered, that this is a good, gives the committee a good idea of what money is in that fund and what is being budgeted to be spent over the next 10 years. And you can see, other than this year, there isn't anything significant coming out of that reserve. So perhaps there is something that the Recreation Committee wants to bring forward in terms of how this committee feels that money should be spent. I would say, though, that we don't have clear indication yet on some of the projects that are being, so for instance, the big plan at the Puslinch Community Center, a lot of that is contingent on grant funding, which we don't know for sure if we're going to get. So I'm not sure that we should all of a sudden start putting in all these ideas to spend all that money, because we may need it for that project. But there is money sitting there, and perhaps there's something that we would like to bring forward for council to consider.
Right. Jessica, my understanding is that about 80,000 of that money has been allocated for the new soccer field, along with the $150,000 grant, along with the donation from the soccer club.
I may need our treasurer, unless perhaps Courtney or Mr. Fowler remembers exactly the figures. I believe that the amount that is budgeted in this 2021 year relates to the phase 1 of the plan. Maybe Mr.
Correct.
Fowler can correct me on that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, you are correct, Jessica. Currently, phase 1 has a price tag in total, which includes grant funding, donations from the soccer club, and contributions from the reserves, and it comes in about $167,000.
All right.
Can I just ask a quick question here? Schedule F, so that's restricted reserves, projected balances from 2021 to 2030. So Parks and Recreation Services starts out with a balance of $53,096. So that's the opening balance at 2021. Then there's capital withdrawals of $28,758, contributions of $12,807 each year, leaving a balance at the end of 2021 of $37,145. So does anybody know what that money is for then? Because that's a separate schedule than what we're talking about here.
Maybe Mike Fowler might know. I think it sounds like it may be maintenance and upkeep. I know a few things had to be done at the community center. He might know. I think there was generator upgrade and a few things that took a bit of money this year or last year.
Yeah, you're correct. We were over budget on the building maintenance of the community center, mostly due in fact to unseen repairs to the diesel emergency generator. I think I stated before, we had a problem with mice getting into the computer boards and shredding them up. So unfortunately, this was close to a $7,000 replacement board that we had to purchase in order to be compliant with our emergency management.
So this schedule has nothing to do with the purchase of new capital items.
No, it does not. But I will also clarify with our treasurer, Mary Hassan, on that matter also.
Okay. Is there any more discussion before we move on to 8.2?
Nope.
Nope, that clarifies.
Okay, so 8.2, Township of Pusson's Resolution 2020-345 regarding the Recreation Committee's resolution number 2020-005 regarding proposal for baseball diamond netting. And I believe that was on item 2 here. The proposal for the purchase of baseball diamond netting for the PCC, as well as purchase and installation of cautionary signage to be included in an upcoming council agenda for consideration by council during the 2021 budget process. So I think maybe a little update on that, I believe, if there is one.
Regarding an update for that, Vinny, it was presented to council. They heard a rough cost estimate that came in around $120,000 for the netting. It was received. Other suggestions have been put forward also. Council has requested that Public Works and Parks look into reforesting the back berm as a plan to eventually stop fly balls from flying toward the soccer field. A lot of mature trees were removed due to the construction of the new lighting that went into the ball diamond. Unfortunately, at the time, it was not planned for new trees to be put back in. So Public Works is currently exploring the possibility of starting to plant new trees. The other option that was presented to council was more of an administration change, where we were identifying whether it be soccer game times or baseball game times, trying to not have them play at the same time. So we will juggle. So soccer would play first. Once soccer was done, we would then allow baseball to play. It should only fall under one night of the week. From what I can remember, it was a Wednesday night. And the third option that was presented was banning basically high velocity baseballs and possibly banning aluminum bats to be used. This type of diamond is not suited for adults with aluminum bats to play in. So there is a recommendation that we only ask if teams want to play while soccer plays, that wooden bats and low velocity balls be used. That will be a requirement.
Well, that makes sense.
Not if you're a baseball player.
Yeah. Okay. Is there any discussion on that? No. Okay, we'll move on to item 9.
Oh, can we
Or-
just get 2 resolutions there? So the first resolution would be that consent agenda item 8.1 be received for information.
All right, would somebody like to make a motion? Bruce? And
I'll
second,
second.
Dina?
Dinah, yep.
Dynamite?
Dynamite, there you go.
All right,
And then if
and
we could
everybody's
just
all in
get,
favor?
In favor.
perfect. And then if we could just get another one, that consent agenda item 8.2 be received for information.
Yes.
Bruce again?
Yeah, I accept.
All right. Accepted as read. Everybody's all in favor?
In favor.
Yes.
I-
Favor.
All right. Okay, perfect. We'll move on to correspondence. Is there any correspondence?
No, I
I
didn't have any.
No. All right. If there's no correspondence, we'll move on to number 10. Committee and staff reports. And there's 6 sub items here. 10.1, we'll start with Dinah here with the delivery method of PCN.
Yes, it's my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, that the township is now has access to MailChimp to send out. Can anyone confirm that we're using MailChimp? Justine, Courtney?
Sorry, I believe our website, our new website that we've launched, I believe it does use MailChimp, that it's integrated into the new website. So
Right.
there may be some emails that are coming out as it's been integrated into that, but I don't know if staff are using that independently from the website.
Okay, the reason I ask is because we'll get a lot more leverage on the Pheasant community newsletter if we can send it out. MailChimp has a newsletter section where people would open up their email and automatically it would populate the newsletter. However we choose it, if we want it to look the same, that's fine, but they'll have headings, and it's just an easier way to access. And right now what you have to do is you have to click on a link and then download the PDF. And MailChimp is a more efficient way of delivering and sharing the Pheasant community newsletter so that other people can sign up and know about it. So I'm just wondering, is there a possibility to use that that platform for sending the newsletter? Anybody have any thoughts?
Could staff possibly take that back and just look into it a little more, just with the website being so new, just maybe to get a better understanding of how or if that could work out?
That would be great. And I would be happy to set it up in MailChimp if I could get access to that too, to make it easy for everybody. So, because I'm very familiar with the platform.
You're hired.
Thanks, Vinny.
All right. No, that's a great point that Dinah brings, to make things a bit easier. Not everybody's familiar with PDFs, so, makes the general public a little bit easier to read some of the stuff. So,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And to get more exposure to it as well, because there is a share button, people can share. And what we could do, Courtney, just so that you know, we do have people signed up, obviously, to receive the PCN. I think they do it through, I don't know, it's a general sign up. They don't necessarily sign up only for the PCN, is my understanding. They sign up for public notices, I think. So if we were to move to the MailChimp platform, people who had signed up for public notices would then receive the MailChimp newsletter in its new format. And then it would say, you have received this because you signed up to receive the public notices from the Township of Pheasant, and you have the opportunity to unsubscribe if you wish. There's also a share button so that then they can share with other people, and other people could go, oh, I didn't know this existed. So yeah, I'm going to sign up. So just thought I'd throw that in there, that would be an easy way to just transition to the MailChimp format and do it according to social media protocols.
Okay.
Do I need to do anything, ask anything specific for staff to look at that, or Courtney, is that just a done deal?
It might be good if under this staff report, if Justine could just prepare some direction, just asking us to go back specifically to look into this, and then we could bring it back to a future rec committee meeting.
Sure,
Okay.
I'll note this as staff direction.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. All right, item 10.2.
Oh, can we just get a resolution to accept the report for information?
All right, can we, Dinah, seconded by Bruce, all in favor?
In favor. Can I just add one quick thing to what Dinah was just saying?
Sure.
I apologize. I can't remember if we've talked about this at the rec committee meeting or the council meeting. It kind of is all jumbled. But I don't know if the rec committee knows that we do now have that Bang the Table, which is a public engagement website integrated into the Puslinch website, and it's called engagepuslinch.ca, and it is live now.
Right.
I don't know if we've talked about that, but perhaps it might be a good idea to have the newsletter posted through that stream as well.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, perfect.
Anything is great. I like anything you can add in social media is wonderful.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we're gonna
Is
add that.
Yeah, okay.
All right, thank you, Jessica. So we'll add that as well for the staff to look at. Courtney or Justine?
Yep, I'll note that as well.
Okay, thank you. And we'll move on to item 10.2, Pushlands Trails Dog Leash Policy. Dinah as well.
Yes, me again. So I had someone ask me that they said that they wanted to visit Puslinch and go on the trails on, I think it was a couple weekends ago. And they asked me if what the dog leash policy was on the trails. So I said I didn't know because I don't have a dog and I don't do the trails. So I went to the website and I tried to find out if the trails had a dog leash policy, and I couldn't find anything. So my first question is, number one, does anyone know if the trails have a dog leash policy and if it's on or off leash? And if it's specific to certain trails? And number two, did I miss something on the website about dog leash policy on the trails? Because I think that would be helpful for people who want to walk our trails and visit Puslinch. Anybody know?
Well, there is a sign when you get to the county trails,
Mm-hmm.
and it shows that dogs are to be on the leash. However,
Okay.
like, and when it's busy, most people do have their dogs on a leash, but I know when we have our shared custody grand dog and we're going during the week and it's not very busy,
Yeah.
we let them off leash, and
Right.
lots of other dogs are off leash too.
Right. Okay. So that answers my question that there is a policy for dogs to be on leash, so I could answer her that. And the fact that it's noted on the trails is great to remind people. But if somebody wants to visit Puslinch, maybe now is not the greatest time, but of course, when things get better, we do want people to come here and shop at our businesses and eat in our restaurants. Is there anything? Does anybody know? I couldn't find anything on the website. So somebody isn't going to come necessarily to a Puslinch trail if they can't find out before they get there what they need to do with their dog. So yes, she specifically wanted her dog to be off leash, to be able to be off leash, and I couldn't answer her question and I couldn't find out. So does anyone know, is there information on the website that I missed about dog leash policy on the trails?
So Dinah, if I can just a little bit, we do have a bylaw regulating animals in the township.
Okay.
So it is a bylaw that talks about dogs at large, running at large.
Right.
So there's a couple ways. So the first thing to find out first is if the trail is on public property or private property. So is it conservation land? Is it one of the conservation authorities? In which case it wouldn't be the township's public trails.
Right.
So, and then just to note that if it is private property, then the township's dogs at large bylaw wouldn't necessarily be enforced, but on all property in the township, dogs would be considered running at large if they were not on leashes.
So the only way for someone to find out is really, number one, to go to the bylaw. It's kind of a complicated, issue. It's not like we could put it on the website per trail. It sounds like it's more complicated than that, right? That's probably why you haven't done it. Is that true?
I would
Yeah.
say yes, but there, the county's GIS mapping system is actually a really excellent resource. So it's available through the county's website, and it does have all of the trails in the township and in the county noted. So you
Right.
can actually click on a trail in the township, and it will pop up some information about the trail. So for instance, if it's the Guelph Hiking Club that owns it, it will give you those details, in which case you could contact the Guelph Hiking Club and perhaps access the rules.
Right.
So that's a good resource to find out the information about the trails. And then
Good.
if anybody has questions about whether or not it's an off leash, they could always call the township, and staff can
Right.
help. But you're right, it's not clearly noted on the website
Right.
because there's so many different trails, so many different properties.
Exactly. I understand that. Yeah. Okay. Got it. So they go to the Wellington County website and click on, sorry, what was it again?
So it's the GIS. So it's
GIS.
Yeah, the mapping system. It's a really excellent tool just to kind of
Good.
navigate the township.
Okay, so if anybody ever asks me, I'll tell them that, and I understand that it's just too complicated for us. It's not a simple fix on our website, so it's kind of a small issue, but okay, that's it. That's all I have to say.
You know what's going to be coming next is off leash area where people can bring their dogs. That's going to be the next thing we're going to be building. You know, so they can come out and let their dogs run free.
We don't have anything like that, do we?
No.
No.
We do.
I know they do in
Sure
Guelph.
we do.
Where?
A lot of the ball diamond at PCC.
Yeah.
It's
They're
it's
not supposed to.
it's enclosed, and every day I'm at the soccer field, I see
Yeah.
3 to 5 people in there letting their dogs run loose.
But
Now, I
they're
don't
not
know if
supposed
it's
to.
supposed to happen, but that's
Right,
where
right.
everybody does it.
Yeah.
Of course. All right, thanks, Bruce.
Ask
I won't
a-
tell her to
ask
go
a-
there though.
Yeah, ask a baseball player in the spring when they
Yeah.
step in it.
Well, I still hope that people pick up after their dogs, and
Yeah,
we
hope
still
so.
find dog doo-doo on the soccer fields
Yeah.
too.
Oh
So
my God.
it happens.
Yeah,
It's frustrating.
what are you gonna do? Okay.
All right. Any more discussion on item 10.2 before we write it into the record?
No.
No?
Sorry, quickly. Yes, I do. I'm wondering if this, Courtney just mentioned this GIS mapping that the county website provides. Would it be possible perhaps, in light of Dinah's comments, to put a link on our website to that GIS mapping so that it's more easy to find through our own website rather than tinkering around from website to website to find it?
Absolutely. We can definitely, there may be several spots on our website where that would be a good fit. So we can look into that.
Oh, that's a great idea.
I think it's Claire here, guys. I think there is, we do have a trail page on our website. And it does have some resources there. So it's not as comprehensive as the county's mapping, but there is like a printable map that shows all of the trails in Puslinch.
And does it say anything about whether about the dog leash policy? 'Cause I thought I'd gone to that.
Not, no.
Yeah, I thought I'd gone to that and couldn't find that out. So I like Jessica's idea too. I mean, we can't, if we can make it easier for people to find, that's a great idea. If as long as it's not too much work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I would think, Dana, that all trails would be officially leased. Like you have to have your dogs on leashes, but
Yeah.
there's no bylaw officer walking the trails, so
Right.
people will take them off.
Of
Unless
course,
there's a problem.
Yes.
right. But I think
I would assume, I would assume that every dog has to be leashed.
right. And they'd find that out when they get there. I'm just, again, it's all about, whether they would choose to come here and are looking for that information. And I think Jessica's suggestion of providing a link on the township website might be, you know, like I said, if it's minimal effort, I think it would be a good idea to include it. Make it easier for people to find out ahead of time whether they're going to follow the rules or not.
Mm-hmm. All right. So we're going to make a vote motion to accept everything on 10.2.
I'll make the
All in
motion.
favor?
Yeah.
Dana,
Second.
Dinah,
Yeah.
and Bruce. All right. We'll one more time, Dinah. Guelph YMCA summer camps.
Me again. Hello, I'm here all night. So yeah, no, I was just curious. I mean, I know we're in a pandemic. I know that the Guelph Y is going to be announcing tomorrow what they're going to be doing about reopening. I was just wondering, because they always come to us every year about renting our community fields and whatever, the center for summer camp. And I'm just wondering if they had approached the township at all with any sort of different type of, with following protocols about summer camp. Like, is there any drumming on that? Have they contacted anybody about it?
I haven't received any correspondence that I'm aware of for this.
Right. Okay, so they haven't, I guess they just don't know what I was wondering if they had some idea about summer camps, about operating them in a safe manner and going forward with them. So you're saying that they haven't approached us?
No, not at this time that I'm aware of.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know, was if they had approached us.
Sure.
Thank you.
All right. Any more discussion on that matter?
No.
Nope.
Okay, we can move forward then. Everybody accepts it. Item 10.4.
Oh, can we get a mover and seconder to just accept that verbal report?
Bruce and
I'll second.
Dinah. Yep. All in favor?
In favor.
Yeah. All right. Recreation Committee's goals and objectives for 2021 and 2022. Justine.
Yeah. So through reviewing the Recreation Committee's previous minutes and through discussions with staff, we've collected what we believe to be the committee's initiatives as we've outlined in the chart. So this is just an opportunity for you to share your input regarding the tasks that we've outlined, and if there's anything that we've missed or if something should be removed. And then once we have this finalized, we're going to bring this forward to council for endorsement at the March 3rd meeting.
So this all came in our package here. Is there anything that's missing or anything anybody would like to talk about?
How big are the subcommittees going to be on each of these tasks? Like, is it just going to be one person from the rec committee to partner with? Like, how is this going to work?
That's a good question. Courtney, we don't have specific rules regarding subcommittee sizes, do we?
No, I think what we're hoping to have finalized tonight is if we can confirm who the subcommittee is going to be for each of these tasks.
Okay.
So it can be as many as the committee feels is needed to kind of accomplish that particular task. And then just also assigning a timeline for the next status update for that particular task, so that we all have a general idea of just the expectation to bring information back, or to either complete the task if it's not quite as lengthy. But I think what we're looking for tonight is to actually assign those subcommittees and assign the timelines as well.
Okay.
All right. So does everybody have that sheet in front of you?
Yep.
Do we want to just go down the sheet and figure out what we want to do
Sure.
right now? So the first item on the sheet is the drinking fountain and water refill station. Subcommittee to be established to identify potential grants / fundraising or / donation funding.
Vinny, that's the second page.
Oh. Well, maybe I'm missing one.
The first one starts with quarterly reporting.
Quarterly
Council.
reporting. Yep, sorry, you're right.
That's all right.
Quarterly reporting to council on recreation initiatives and progress. There's currently no budget and no subcommittee for that. Secretary of the committee to draft report based on committee approved reporting template. See attached Schedule A report template. I don't think we need anything for that, do we not, folks?
Don't think so.
No, that's just on me.
Yeah, so I think we just have to go down the list, Vinny, where it says subcommittee.
Yeah.
And there's a Y, then I think that's
Yeah.
what we're supposed to do.
Okay, well then we'll go down to public engagement, Pusslinch event spaces, Wellington weddings, promoting of the facility rentals. Unfortunately, I don't think we could do anything last year, but I think Diana was working on this.
Well, this was no.
Yeah,
I
no,
remember this was what June brought up.
yeah, it was, I saw it in the Wellington Advertiser, and it's kind of like, I don't know, a yearly booklet that's put out, and there was a lot of halls in there, caterers, bridal salons, that type of thing, advertising, and all the townships around in Wellington County all had ads in there except Pusslinch. And so we contacted the people that do the advertising, and then we had to go to council to get approval to put our name in, and then it was left with staff, so I'm not sure where it went with that.
It's Claire here. I did reach out to the organizer of Wellington Weddings, and just due to COVID, they weren't accepting or even quoting any ad space at this time. But they did advise that once they are going to start up the publication again, that they would reach out with some more information. So they're not producing it at this time just because events are limited.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Committee training. Is there anything?
Sorry, just for the public engagement, who wanted to be on that subcommittee?
I would.
Or the promotions for the community center.
Yeah, we kind of have that
Yeah.
like all wrapped into one.
Yeah, no, I would like to be on that.
Okay. Perfect.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
So it says subcommittee to work with secretary regarding potential engagement, advertisement opportunities, etc. So Justine, will you be contacting us and kind of organizing us on where we should
Yes,
be?
yeah,
going?
I'll be organizing
good.
you on
Good.
the running the table and stuff like that for sure.
Okay, good. The ship needs a captain. Thank you.
All right. Perfect. Is there any more discussion on that?
No,
No. Do you want to have like a mover and seconder as we go down the list?
Sure, I'll move.
No, I think
Oh, we don't know. Okay.
Okay. All right. Committee training. Secretary to look into training opportunities for the committee. I mean, I guess we all kind of know what we're doing, but maybe that might be for new members possibly.
yeah, I don't think there was a subcommittee for that, Vinny.
Okay.
The
for
next one.
preparation of, oh yeah, sorry, it's the next one that requires it.
Yeah. Okay. So the subcommittee on the next one here, preparation of recreation advisory committee orientation package to new members of council and committee. There is a subcommittee recommended. So the subcommittee to be established in October of 2021 will work with the secretary to develop orientation materials.
I'm happy to do that when, I know it's saying not till October 2021, but I'm fine to be that committee, subcommittee, if that helps by answering that question now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind putting my name out if, if anybody needed a hand. If there's anybody else. All right. All right, the next one on the list, is everything all done? Give me a pause that.
So now it's the second page, the drinking fountain.
Yeah, and water refill station. So I think I brought this up.
Mhm.
I would be happy to be in a subcommittee.
Yeah, I'd really like to be part of that too.
And anybody else? Okay. And then we'll down to bang the table. The subcommittee to be established to identify potential projects, staff to create a proposal template for new projects, including planning, budget, implementation, and reporting requirements on bang the table.
I'm happy to be on that one.
I will as well.
Thank you. Anybody else? All right. And I think that's it for subcommittees. Is there anything else to talk about in that 10.4? Before we move on?
Quick question.
Yes.
If we, and perhaps this is a question for Justine, can we continue to add, first of all, actually, let me just start by saying I really like this goals and objectives sheet. So I'm not exactly sure who developed this, but awesome job to whoever did it, because I really like that it gives us a little bit of, forces us to kind of stick with these ideas and hopefully see them through. So thank you for that. And then my question is, can we continue to add goals and objectives to this? Or is the intent that this will carry us through the remaining of this term?
Courtney can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the intent was this was going to bring us through the remainder of the term.
And I do think there is an opportunity to add if necessary. It would just be reported to council as Justine prepares her quarterly reports with updates. So there is an opportunity, just bearing in mind anything with a budget impact, just making sure the timing for those projects being introduced can fit into a budget cycle if required.
All right. Okay, do we have a mover or seconder for these items we just spoke about for 10.4?
I'll move.
Bruce? Seconder?
I'll second.
June Williams? We're all in favor?
Yes.
Favor.
Okay, item 10.5, review terms of reference. Justine Brotherston.
Yeah, so so the terms of reference have been attached for the committee to review. And if there's any changes that you might like to see, if you could send me an email, we can bring these back to the May meeting for review for any of those changes. And then just within our terms of reference, I wanted to note that the chair and vice chair are appointed at the first meeting of the committee, and then they shall serve for a capacity of a minimum of 2 years. So our current chair and vice chair were appointed in 2019. With this in mind, I just wanted to ask if we just wanted to continue with our chair and vice chair for the remainder of the term, or if the committee wanted to look at appointing a new chair and vice chair.
I'm happy
Same.
with the status quo.
Yeah, no,
Okay,
keep
perfect.
saying fine by me.
I'm okay to stay where I am. I feel I haven't done very much this year, so, you know, hopefully we
It's
can do
only
more.
February.
Oh.
Okay, does anybody have any questions on this terms of reference paperwork here?
I just have a question. I remember, well, I guess June and I were in on this. Is this the original one with the exception of changing the dates of the meetings? Does anyone know? Just curious. Or were any changes made?
Well, we did change the August meeting to September the 21st, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Sorry, June. I guess I'm just saying are these terms of reference basically just a carbon copy of the original ones that we made, or were any other changes other than the dates of the meetings? So is this the original one? Does it, Courtney, Justine, do you know? Claire?
So I believe these would be the ones that whatever the last ones that were approved by committee and then brought to council.
Right.
That would be these ones.
Okay, good. Then it's good. I didn't
Okay.
see anything new other than the quarterly meetings, so I just wanted to know if there was anything else.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, thank you very much. If there's no more questions, then we'll just move to accept our discussion on items 10.5, terms of reference. Any movers?
I'll move it.
Dinah? And
Second.
all right, June Williams, and we're all in favor.
In favor.
Mhm.
All right, item 10.6, if Mike's still on here, want to mute your mic, and he's going to give us a little master plans, parks master plans update. Mike, if you're there.
I haven't left all night, Vinny. So currently phase one went to tender in late January. We had, actually it was a quite successful turnout as far as tender bids for the tender. We have issued the tender to a successful applicant. The company is out of Stony Creek. Just a couple more, we'll say, we just have to do a couple reference checks regarding work they performed. And once we have that, news will be announced of the winning bid. So that's currently where we stand, and we plan to, hopefully, weather permitting, be on track for construction to begin, hopefully in late March, early April.
Oh,
Completion.
Good.
bravo.
That's
Mhm.
great. Great news.
Good news.
I think that the residents of Puslinch will be so happy just to see something being done there. That's great.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Is there any more discussion on anything here before we move to accept Mike's
I
update?
think Bruce is trying to talk. We can't hear you, Bruce.
I got that silly mute button on again. Mike, I'm not sure if you are at liberty to say, I saw the number of recipients or applicants for the tender that replied, and it was anywhere from 88,000 up to 500,000. If I can remember correctly, the group from Stony Creek were at the low end. Weren't they around 80 or 90,000 or?
You're correct. Because of the large discrepancy with the bid results, the township is taking extra care to make sure all qualifications are met for the winning contractor. So it's just taking a little bit more time, make sure all T's are crossed and I's dotted, and we hopefully soon will have all the answers we need to announce the winning contractor.
Okay, but the question that I have, which was, there was a budget of about $225,000 to $250,000. So this is significantly underneath that budget. And the grant that we received from Ontario was 150. So what happens if we don't spend their 150?
I will have to take for specific details back to our treasurer before I can answer that, Bruce.
Okay. So next question is, if that is the winning tender and everything is great for, let's say, $90,000, the rest of that money, could that be used for upgrades such as conduits or lighting for that project, since it's so far below the budget? 170K to be specific.
Without quoting, I would assume that any extra money would be allocated eventually toward the second phase.
Okay.
Again,
Okay.
until verification from our treasurer can be presented, that is just preliminary.
Okay.
So, Mike, I'm not questioning anybody's decisions here, but doesn't that concern you that they've come in so low? Like, I just don't want to, you know, with when the rink was built, like the, you know, the coolers and all that were just not up to what they should have been. And so I just wouldn't want anybody to be disappointed when it was all said and done with the soccer field.
Yes, you're correct, June. That's why the township management and our engineering firm have taken extra lengths to explore previous work completed, and to make sure that this competitive bid will basically be up to the job to do the job. So until all research is done, that is when the announcement will be made.
Good. Good. It's a big undertaking.
All right, well, that's great. Thanks, Mike, for the update. If there's any more discussion, let me know. If not, we'll look for Jessica.
Sorry, I keep throwing in these last minute comments. I am wondering if it might be something worthwhile considering if, since this soccer field will now be in place this summer, that will likely have an impact on how the fair how they manage the facility, their operation this year, if they're able to have a fair this year. And I am wondering if there's any benefit for the rec committee to correspond with the fair committee, or the or perhaps it should be soccer. I'm just trying to facilitate some kind of collaborative effort between how we're going to make sure that soccer field is protected, but the fair can also take place.
Well, that
Let's,
property was, sorry.
go ahead, June.
So where the soccer fields are going in is where they use for parking, right?
Yes.
So that's what I think we have to figure out. And surely in the layouts, it must be down somewhere where the excess parking was going to be. But we also talked about getting permission to use parking at the flea market.
Mm-hmm. Well, currently, right now, we're in the planning process of the fair, if there is going to be one. And from what it looks like, we may have some kind of a drive-through style fair. Might not be a lot of public on the grounds if, you know, we can't have too many people on the grounds. So, you know, I'm not too worried this year for the parking back there, but I think, you know, when things start opening up, I think maybe 2022 might be a bit of a challenge, but you know, I don't think we're going to be driving tractors and big equipment over top of a fresh soccer field, since it probably will be soft if it's raining. And, you know, I don't think we're going to have the crowds this year, to be honest with you. So that's how my feeling is on the fair this year. So it may be a drive through, drive down like the Santa Claus parade was, and more of an online for displays and exhibits.
Mm.
But our meeting comes up in a couple weeks, so
Okay.
stay tuned.
Well, maybe if nothing else at that meeting, Vinny, maybe you could, you know, if there's concern about that moving ahead, just to let that committee know that that we can try and work with them. If the rest of this committee agrees, to try and help work together on finding something that works for everyone.
I agree. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, I would think that the township, well, it would come from the township saying that there is to the committee, that the field is, once it's, the tender is awarded, that there is going to be a field there, and then there's no provision for parking. I don't know if you want to have that in as an official letter or not, or just hearsay.
Well, we'd like to try. We try and prevent parking, I think, the first year. I mean, I know it's up in the air if we're even going to have a fair. So,
Yeah.
But I think we've got some time, you know, like Bruce said, to see whether parking on that field, which probably I don't think we recommended, but whether it should happen or not, you know.
No, with the big tractors and the trailers. Should, even if the field was 5 years old, you should not park
No.
on it.
I'm just more so concerned. I'm, as much as it's super exciting to have the soccer field going in, I don't want it to be a detriment to the fair. And I know that how the fair operates isn't the goal and objective of this particular committee, but at the same time, I don't think anyone on this committee would want to see the fair, you know, not being able to go forward because of the soccer field. So I'm just putting it out there that I think that, you know, hopefully we can work together to help find some solutions to that.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with that. I just think they should be notified that this is happening, and then we can work together.
Jessica, could you maybe draft a letter to the Agricultural Society, and maybe Vinny could read it at his meeting?
Yeah, I could even take an emailed letter. That's fine.
Sure, and perhaps I would get the help of staff to do that.
Yes,
Okay.
Justine, if you wanted to note it in the resolution to, I don't know which item we're on here, but when you receive it, then you can just include that direction, Justine, and then you can work with Councillor Goyda on this one.
Okay. Is there any more discussion on this item before we move on?
I'll just make one comment, Vinny.
Yes.
So I think realistically, we have to expect that if the township proceeds with the phase 1, phase 2, and then the small amount of phase 3 parks master plan, that realistically there's not going to be available parking on whether it be upgraded sports fields, upgraded pull tracks, stuff like that, that all that has been identified, especially if lights get erected and shade structures and a new playground is built, we're really cutting down on the acreage. So I think from this committee, the thought should be put forward to coming up with solutions, whether it be shuttle services from the flea market, the administration parking lot, or even inquire about the hayfield across the road directly from the community center that we could utilize maybe for parking. So this is going to be close to a $1.3 million investment that we really, my recommendation would be that we do not encourage parking or any type of vehicular activities other than your normal grass cutting and maintenance.
And I'm in agreement with you, Mike. You know, those tractors and stuff can do a lot of damage. They're pretty heavy, especially I've seen what it's like back there when it rains. It's pretty muddy. So it'd definitely be to ruin a, you know, $1.3 million job would, the Fair Board would not want to, you know, be in the position to do that. So thank you. All right. Is there anything before we move and second this item 10.6?
Just to clarify, what is the name of the Fair Board? Is it that?
It's the Aberfoyle Agricultural Society. And you can just email me. I'm, I guess you can say practically a president or vice president.
Okay, so I was just, the resolution would be that the Recreation Committee receives the report, Parks Master Plan for information, and that a letter be drafted to be sent to the Aberfoyle Agricultural Society regarding parking solutions for the fair. Is that accurate?
That sounds good. And, you know, I think we could make it work. Like Mike was saying, there's lots of options. You know, we can encourage, if things are going a lot of virtual, we can encourage, you know, people not to drive if we can, you know, or to carpool, or like you said, a shuttle bus or a hay wagon or whatever you want to take from the flea market over. So we could make it work.
Yeah. But the nice thing about sending them the letter is that they're going to feel included, and rather than hearsay, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the letter idea. If you'd like, I can get our email the president, but he doesn't go on the computer often, so I can just bring the letter to the meeting.
When
All
is
right.
that meeting, Vinny?
We're gonna try and do it right after the OAS convention, which is this week, so possibly next week. We're gonna call the meeting, so in 2 weeks' time.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna do a Zoom meeting for the
Okay.
for the next fair meeting.
So you'd need to have it in time to add it to your agenda then.
Yeah, within a week or so would be fine.
Great.
Okay, is there any more discussion before we move item 10.6? No, do we got a mover and a seconder?
I'll move.
June moves, Bruce will second, and all in favor? All right.
In favor.
We'll move down to item 11. Is there any new business?
Just one. I just wanted to let everyone know that the township is currently accepting nominations for the Volunteer of the Year award. And
Ooh.
so if you know of anyone or have through your contacts throughout the township, if you can just spread the word that that nomination period is open. I should know the date when that ends, but I don't. I believe it's the end of this month. Perhaps Courtney can clarify that.
Yeah, so it closes on March 12th. So it opened February 12th and it runs for a month.
Thank you, Justine.
Yeah, no problem.
So yeah, just hopefully we can get some good nominees in there.
Okay, thank you. Is there anything else for new business?
Not for me.
No.
for the
Nope.
good of the rec committee? All right, we'll move to close that item 11. I'll move.
I'll second.
Dinah second. All right, everybody's in favor. Number 12, announcements. Is there any announcements?
No, we don't have any announcements.
Okay. All right, we'll move to item 13, adjournment.
Yay.
Bruce would like to move to adjourn the meeting.
I think
Please
Bruce
and thank
did.
you.
So the next meeting is May the 18th, 2021. I'm assuming it's going to be held on Zoom platform. If there's anything, obviously, reach out to the township to get included in the meeting. And we'll look forward to seeing everybody.
Stay well, everybody.
Yes.
So so Bruce, did you make the motion to adjourn the meeting?
I did.
And do we have a seconder?
I'll second.
June Williams, all in favor?
Favor.
In favor.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody.
Nice to see you all.
Great
You
to see
too.
everybody.
Bye. Have a
bye-bye.
good night.
Thank you.